How's it going, everybody? So, I don't know how many of you have seen this, but NBC has recently released a new show that I feel like I should talk about while it's still relevant, just because I kind of have a feeling that it's not going to be relevant for very long. The show is called Brea, and the premise is basically a sinkhole opens up in downtown Los Angeles, where the La Brea tar pits are, and basically it creates like a portal in time back to the Pleistocene. That sounds like a really cool premise and something that would be right up my alley, along with all of yours. If you're subscribed to this channel, I'm assuming you would be interested in something like that. That being said, the reception has not been fantastic. And going on NBC's track record about canceling shows that don't perform to their standards fairly quickly, I feel like this show is probably not going to be around in a year or so. Probably not even going to see a season 2. I would be quite surprised right now if we see this show make a second season at all. And articles are starting to come out saying that it's not living up to its potential and how it's just not good. The acting is really cheesy. And if I'm being completely honest, I do agree with most of those points. But there is one thing that I feel like I should talk about while it's still relevant, because there is one thing that I feel like they're getting pretty well, and that is the depictions of some of the animals that we've seen so far from Los Angeles 12,000 years ago. At the time of recording this, there's only been 3 episodes released, and so far we've seen the Territorn, I'm assuming dire wolf. They never confirm it to be a dire wolf, they just call it a wolf, but based on everything that I've seen from it, I'm guessing that that's what they were going for. Smilodon, the short-faced bear, and the giant ground sloth. Also, I guess you could say American camels, but they were just dromedary camels that they just had filling the spot, so I don't even really call that a depiction. It's just camels. So I just wanted to point this out because honestly, I feel like anytime that we get some okay Paleo content, I feel like we should kind of try to give it whatever love we can. And since one of the main things that people who are interested in paleontology tend to be very nitpicky about is the accuracy of the animals' depictions, and at least in that aspect, this show seems to be doing at least its fair amount of research and seems to be doing an okay job. For one thing, the size depictions of everything have been pretty accurate. And although we don't see a ton of behaviors from a lot of them, the 3rd episode in particular did get my attention just because it kind of lined up with a major discovery that's been getting talked about within the same week that the episode aired. It has to do with the giant ground sloth. Now, I know that there's been depictions in the past of ground sloths doing things like scavenging kills, or everybody has seen Walking with Prehistoric Beasts when a megatherium just walks up and takes out a Smilodon and steals a carcass that they killed. Oh, Lord, he coming! But without spoiling anything, basically we see a very similar type of behavior to that in the giant ground sloth that we see in La Brea. And then ironically, a paper comes out right around the same time that the episode aired, so they've obviously already recorded the episode. And in the paper, they describe how they've been doing stable isotopic analysis of ground sloth bones, and they're finding that ground sloths were eating a more substantial amount of meat than previously thought. Now, for it to be showing up in actual bone analysis, that means that it had to have been a regular part of their diet, not like, we hear about things like deer eating meat on rare occasion, but if you were to do an isotopic analysis of a deer, you're gonna find that the animal is a primary herbivore. The data that came out this week shows that maybe ground sloths might have been a little bit more on the omnivorous side of things and had a more varied diet. And I just find it very interesting that this show that is, you know, it's not a documentary, it's not anything like that. And what we're seeing is they've obviously done at least a little bit of research. So I did just want to extend a little bit of love to them because I feel like they kind of need it because, yeah, like I said, if this show is around by the end of 2022, I will be quite surprised because they're already bombing and we've only seen 3 episodes. So if you think that you could deal with some of the more cringy acting that we're seeing from the show, and honestly, me and Nancy are pretty much mostly watching it just to see the cool creatures and the different designs and how they depict them. I don't care whose heroine it is, I just want to see a Glyptodon. And who knows, if you guys like this video, maybe I'll start doing more talks about it or something. I'm not making any promises on that because I don't know if I want to exactly attach myself to this on any kind of real level. But if you want to laugh at some acting and at the same time enjoy some halfway decent creature designs that I feel like they've actually put a little bit of thought into, maybe with a little bit of a limited CG budget, maybe give it a shot. And who knows, maybe people watching it might be able to keep it around for a little while and maybe they can start to get more aspects of the show together and make it a little bit better. Maybe eventually put as much money into their writing team as their research team. Who knows? Alright, I'm going back to my cave to toil away at another video that I've been working on. I'm thinking maybe doing a museum video next. Don't forget to give this a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one, everybody.